In this video, I'm going to give you the most comprehensive Facebook ads tutorial for 2024. Doesn't matter if you're running e-commerce, lead gen, coaching and consulting offers, affiliate offers, or even just trying to generate leads for your local business. What I'm going to show you in this video is going to apply to every business. So let's get into it. I'm going to show you my exact strategies of how we profitably spend thousands of dollars per day in, day out, with different offers, different industries, different verticals. And I'm doing this with my own money. So you know that I don't have time, energy, or finances to just blow on things that don't work, right? So let's go ahead and get started. Also, I just want to say real quick, don't forget to join my free school community below this video. I'm gonna be sharing a lot of information there and answering questions directly, so you get support from me as well as other people in the community that are actively spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars as well per day on Facebook ads. All right, so as we go through this tutorial, just know it's gonna be broken up into sections and chapters, so you'll actually be able to skip ahead with some of these steps. Like, we're gonna be going through everything from A to Z, meaning if you need to create a business manager and generate the pixel and do all the steps leading up to running ads. So you may wanna jump ahead to the actual creative testing or the scaling, for example, if you already have an active offer, okay? If you're a brand new beginner, stick with me this whole time. I can promise you this is gonna be the most comprehensive, bulletproof, foolproof, and direct way of running Facebook ads to actually get results today. Okay, so as we go through this, keep in mind that if you are a brand new beginner, this is exactly where you wanna start. If you already have created a business manager, created an ad account, created a pixel, done all the basic stuff, you could probably skip this section, but you may want to watch it and because you'll probably still learn something, okay? I'm going to be breaking this video up into multiple sections, so you can actually jump ahead to that chapter of the video if you want to see how we actually initially create campaigns and then move into scaling and everything from there. All right, so from here, what we're going to do, we're going to type in business.facebook.com/create. Right here, it says create an account. And we're going to name this whatever we want to name it. So let's say it's John BM, short for business manager. I'll leave my name there. And then I'm going to put my email here so I can get the invitation. Okay, I'm going to hit submit. Okay, after we submit for our business manager to be created, you're going to get an email that looks something like this, just to confirm the business manager. And keep in mind that this is going to almost always go to your spam or your other or your filtered mail. So look for it there. It's not going to typically be in your main inbox. After we click this, it's going to open up into the business manager if it hasn't already redirected us on the last page when we submitted to create it. So here we are in the business manager. The first thing we need to do is we need to create an ad account. So we're going to click add accounts. And I actually had to reshoot this, so I made this already, but the creation process is very simple. It's probably not going to let me make one because I've already hit the limit. But basically, once this pop-up opens, you will simply, so actually I had to refilm this video, so I created this in that process, but nonetheless, how you do it is you simply go to add. So the new business manager is going to be limited to one ad account, so I can't create another one to show you, but it's a very simple process. You'll just name the ad account. You can name it literally whatever you want. I tend to name it the business manager name -1, business manager name -2. So I just know which ad account is which. It's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 as you create more, right? And then you want to select your time zone, and then also you have the option to add a credit card. So if I now go to the ad accounts, right here, I'm going to open an ads manager. And voila, we have our first ad account. We just need to do a couple simple things here to get set up. Okay, so I'm going to say no for political. I'm going to add the payment method now. Next, my name. And I'm going to freeze it here while we actually create this card. Okay, so I've added the card. Honestly, all you really need to do here is put in the billing of the city, the state, and then the zip code. I don't really do any of this other stuff, ever. Great, so now we got our ad account basically ready to go for the most part. One more thing we need to do, we're going to go back to the Business Manager or Business Suite, and we're going to go to now what's called Data Set. It used to be Pixels. I don't know if it actually lets us create pixels anymore. It might. No, yeah, so it's telling us to go to Data Sets, which is basically the pixel. So we're going to go to Add, and usually I'd name the pixel based on the offer I'm running, if it's like a standalone offer, or if it's a e-commerce store, for example, I'll name it after the e-commerce store. So this is going to be for a travel offer. We're going to hit create. If I refresh, you'll see the data set is now there. So now I'm going to assign this to myself to use. Just give everything full control. And then I'm also going to connect it to the asset being the ad account. So I'm going to go to assign assets, select ad account here, and we're going to add. Boom. Okay, so that is good. If I refresh, we are basically good to go. It might ask us to create a page and then confirm the page, which we kind of need to do, but yeah. So a few ways to make the page you're going to be using to advertising. This is required, even if you don't have an Instagram. Like, I never really connect to an Instagram account. I'm usually running off of the Facebook page, which you can then generate almost like a dummy Instagram from the Facebook page. So if you have an Instagram, if you're building like a brand and you want to connect it, there's an option to do that. But generally speaking, almost all of our campaigns are run on Facebook pages. So the way we do that is we're going to go to pages here, and we're going to hit create a new Facebook page. And we're going to name it Travel Hacking Secrets. Actually, no, we'll call this Fly First Class. And we're going to go under really any of these will work. It doesn't really matter what you put here. We're going to create the page. Okay, so we have our page now. So what we're going to do next, we're going to select the page just like that we did with that account. We need to assign it to someone. So it's already assigned to myself. Good to go there. And let's do one last thing. We're now going to need to have a banner here and then an image here. Realistically, just the image. Most people won't actually go to the page. It's just a fact. But if you're actually building like a brand, you'll obviously want to fill this out, okay? But generally, we just throw up like a simple banner and then whatever is relevant to the profile image of the page. So what I recommend is you go to Canva, and then inside of Canva, you actually make your banner image and then also your profile image. And you can do both. They have the dimensions basically ready for you. So if we look here inside of Canva, you'll see that there's basically any template you would need. Let's say we are doing Facebook posts, like a square. This will be good for the cover image. Here we go. So this is for the actual top up here, okay? And let's just do travel, something super simple, just to fill in. I don't want that. So I could even do airplane, flying, banner, image. And we're going to copy this and paste. I'm not really going to design this up because that's not why we're here. So you would probably already have these assets made. If not, you're basically seeing how you could do it. So we're going to add a cover photo. And save. Super simple, not even high quality image. Doesn't matter for now, honestly. Okay, now we want our profile picture. I'm going to get a picture of me in first class. Okay, so now we have our profile picture. And more or less, we are ready to start making our campaigns, okay? But before we do that, just to give you an idea of what we're actually advertising, I literally made an offer just for this video, okay? And it is a travel hacking offer, and I'm just gonna start by testing a low ticket product, $27. We basically show you how to fly first class, business class, or for little to no money out of pocket, even for economy, and to do it maybe for free or cheap depending on your strategy. But yeah, it's it's something that I actually do for fun. And yeah, I've learned a bunch working with some great people that have taught me how to do this, as you can see here. So it's all like a long form sales page, and then it's just like a little $27 travel hacking guide. So this is the product we'll actually be selling. And you'll see the exact ads we're going to be using for this as well. Okay, so that is it. I don't even have a domain for it yet, but we're going to just use this domain here because this is a demonstration, right? So now we are going to go back to Meta Business or the Ads Manager. Okay, so now we have our Business Manager, we have our dataset / pixel created, we have it assigned, we have a Facebook page to use. And this is why this is the simplest thing you'll see on the internet, because I'm literally just going to show you exactly what to do to start getting results right away. We're not going to screw around by creating, having like a whole content strategy behind this. This is specifically if you want to run ads and get results. Very simple, cut and dry. So what we're going to do here, we got the page here. This is our funnel, okay? And now we need to pull up the creatives, which I'm going to show you now. So my Ninja creative team has created a bunch of cool things for us to test, right? So some image style ads like this, okay? We're going to be testing these. We're also going to be testing these. And then we'll be testing these. So tons of creatives to test. I'm going to show you how to structure this, okay, and how we're going to set up budgets and everything else. And then some videos as well, which you'll see.
Tired of cramped economy seats? Here's how you can upgrade to first class for free.
Hey guys, listen, stop paying full price to fly all around the world, to go to Asia, to go to Europe, to go to South America, when you could be doing this for free or even traveling in business in first class for the price of economy. So that's one variation.
This man discovered how to fly first class for the price of economy with a very simple idea. This is John Caston, an avid, frequent flyer and world traveler. One day after his 100th flight, he got tired of flying economy. He loved flying, but economy seats weren't the...
And we have variations of this as well.
This man discovered how to fly first class for the price of economy with a very simple idea. This is John Caston, an avid, frequent flyer and world traveler. One day...
Just slight variations, like little different hooks, different styles.
This man discovered how to fly first class for the price of economy with a very simple idea. This is John Caston, an avid...
Right? So different scripts, variations. It's really...
This man discovered a secret to flying first class for the price of economy. John, a frequent flyer and world...
You get the idea though. So these are going to be the ads we're going to be using. And then the last thing we need, obviously, to finish this is our ad copy. So for ad copy, this is not a copywriting course. This is not a copywriting video. So generally, I'll walk you through exactly how I'll do ad copy right now for this. Okay? Okay, so as we go into the campaign creation, we're going to keep it very simple. This is not really that necessary, but we'll do it just because it's going to bother us and I want it to go away. All you need to do is add a verified phone number. Can use any phone number, and then we need to assign a page. We're going to refresh this because it should just give us the option to use the page. Boom. So we're just going to confirm. That's done. It will stop bothering us. And then we'll do the phone number verification. Okay. So if this is your first time adding your phone number, there's something new that I'm seeing on some ad accounts. You're going to have to get the text message sent to you and then do the confirmation code. Usually, that's why my phone number popped up as an option right away, just as a heads up. But in all reality, I don't think this is actually necessary. And I think the phone number thing might be a new thing that is necessary, though. If not right away, it will be necessary after we run ads for some time. So let's go ahead and create our first campaign. Okay, so we're going to go back to campaigns here. We're going to hit create. We are going to not use this, not use this, not use this, and not use this, and because it's not well, actually we will be using this, but the other scenario that you'll probably be using is going to be leads, and it's going to be obviously if you're generating leads, you're generating appointments. So almost everyone should just be touching this, and then if you do some type of e-commerce or online sales, you should be touching this as well. Do not touch this unless you have an app. Do not touch this unless you have a massive brand with huge budgets. Do not test these two unless you wanted to use some advanced strategies for creative testing that still I'm not sold on, but some ideas with awareness campaigns, traffic campaigns we're playing around with just to see if it gets us results as far as best creatives on a smaller budget, okay? But as of right now, while I'm filming this video, I still genuinely believe, and I say this because this is what we do, that if your goal is leads, if your goal is appointments, you should only be using this. If you're doing any type of info product sales or e-commerce, you should only be doing this, okay? For this, we're gonna be doing sales. I'm gonna continue. You can do Advantage Plus shopping, but for the sake of this video, because it's still an option, I believe this is gonna disappear at some point in the future, we're gonna do a manual sales campaign, okay? Now here, we're going to leave everything as is. We're not going to make any changes here for the creative testing. We're going to go to the ad set level or hit next. Okay, so now all you need to focus on here, make sure this is selected right here. It should be by default. And then we're going to have our pixel already selected. If you have multiple data sets or pixels, you'll choose the one that is right for you. And then we'll choose the exact event, okay? We're going to choose purchase. Right, so there's been no event fires. This is a brand new data set / pixel I just created minutes ago. So obviously that's not going to be here. Okay, but we will show you how to set the pixel as well. Okay, so now we're going to go down, and this is where it gets fun. So I've put out videos on my channel that you should definitely watch. Maybe we'll post one up here in the corner on how we do our creative testing. So this is really important because I'm not going to do $5 a day per ad set. Even if I'm selling something really inexpensive, maybe if I'm like marketing to a South American market or a market in Asia somewhere where CPMs are super inexpensive, CPMs meaning cost to reach 1,000 people, okay? But generally speaking, you need some reasonable amount of budget to get the data you need to make decisions. So in this case, I'm going to think about this as a relative budget based on what I expect to pay per purchase. If I'm selling a $27 course, once again, this is a brand new product, info product, so I have no idea if it's going to work, or it will work. I know that there is a market for this. I don't know how well it's going to convert. I don't know what my average cost per sale is going to be. Let's assume it costs me $20 to produce a sale. So I'm going to have this budget be at least 1.5x that as just like a general rule of thumb. It's going to fluctuate depending on the price point, depending on what you're selling, depending on your margin. But generally speaking, like the higher the price point, the more you need to spend. The lower the price point, the less you need to spend to get data, okay? You can get some decent data. Let's say your average cost per lead should be $3 to $5, and you know this for a fact because you've run the offer or you have friends that have advertised with the offer that you're about to. You could probably get away with ad sets $20 to $30. If you're selling something or generating leads that'll probably cost $50 to $100, maybe a little bit more than that, you're probably going to need to be $50 to $100, if not a little bit more in budget daily to gauge the data and the best creatives, right? So for the sake of this, let's go $30 a day. Okay, we could probably do 50 or 100 if we wanted to, but once again, new product, so I've no idea where this is going to actually play out. Okay, if I want this to go live right away, I'll leave it there. If I want to just set it up to run tomorrow, we can do that as well. Generally, I don't do an end date. I just turn the campaigns off when we're using a daily budget structure like this, okay, because I just decide when I want to stop running the ads. And then also, the other thing to note here too, you can run on a schedule, like maybe you only want to deliver your ads 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is an option. It's generally, you could set up automatic rules to turn on and turn off your daily budgets, but I'm not a big fan of that. Typically, my team just manually turns things on and off. But if you wanted to set up the campaign to deliver on a budget without having to touch anything, you would create a lifetime budget. The downside to a lifetime budget is it has an end date, right? So that means that if I set $350, let's say I set a $1,000 budget, okay, and I wanted to run for 1 week, 27, so let's say we go to the 4th, okay? So it's going to divide up the budget based on either a 24/7 schedule or 9 to 5, for example, or 9 to 9 or whatever I choose, okay? But I'm not going to do this. I generally don't do this, and I generally don't recommend you do this unless this is just a preference you have. But for most people, start off on a daily budget without an end date, okay? And like I said, for this offer, we're gonna go with $30 a day, and we're gonna do multiple ad sets, okay? So coming down, unless your offer is specific to certain states, like a lot of the lead generation and pay-per-call campaigns we run, we can only target, or we maybe need to exclude California or Florida or New York because those states aren't eligible for whatever advertising, or maybe we only want to target people in a city, a state, or a zip code. That's where we would actually change this, okay? And we would do that by hitting edit. And then let's say we wanted to just do Virginia. Then we just do Virginia, but let's say we wanted to do the United States, and then we wanted to add an exclusion for Kentucky. Boom, there we go. We have Kentucky as an exclusion. So more or less, we will target everywhere in the US except for Kentucky. The problem with this changed probably 1 to 2 years ago. It says reach people living in or recently in this location. So this really creates a lot of waste with Facebook, unfortunately. Probably 20, possibly 30% of your traffic can be wasted, unfortunately, because Facebook is stupid and they changed this. Before you had the option to either select people that have recently visited or people that live in, right? So if you chose live in, you would actually get people that live in that area, or Facebook believes lives in that area. When they change it to not being able to differentiate at all, that's where we found a lot of waste, but there's literally no option, so it does not matter, okay? Well, let's leave this all US because for this type of product we're advertising, I want everyone to see it, all right? So now when I come down here, we're gonna go to switch to, if you wanna make changes, okay, which I don't, but I wanna show you in the case you do, right? And what scenarios would you wanna make changes to this? Well, let's say you can only serve people up to 50 years old, or you can only sell your product or service to 21 to 30-year-olds, or you can only sell this to seniors, 65 plus, right, or 50 and over. Okay, you can narrow it. What's interesting though, not always, but often if we don't touch this, Facebook will actually find the best audience for whatever you're selling. So it will, when you do a breakdown of your data after you spend money, you'll actually see Facebook dumps the budget. Maybe it's evenly spread across all the age ranges, or if it's a senior product, it's gonna dump the traffic and spend most of your money automatically without having to change any settings. It's going to spend that on 65 plus or 50 and 65 plus, right? So generally speaking, we do not need to change this. But it just depends on you, your offer, your product, right? So for this type of offer, this travel hacking offer, I want anyone with a credit card to buy this that enjoys flying and wants to fly first class for free or cheap. So when we open this up and we actually go into the original audience settings, couple things to note here, what I was talking about with age or with sex. If you need to target a super specific one, generally Facebook will find the right one, but not always. So you may want to come in and manipulate the age or the sex, okay? When it comes to interests, don't use this. I mean, you could test it, but there's really no point. Just going broad and wide open will almost always find the best audience for you. Now, I buy a lot of e-com courses and coaching programs and lead gen courses and coaching programs, Facebook ad programs. I'm a big sucker for just absorbing as much information as I can when it comes to Facebook, just to see if there's something new I don't know, right? But more often than not, you will get a lot of these course producers that will say you should test interests. I'll do it, but I don't really see it has an impact on my results. So once again, if you wanted to test interests, like let's say basketball, right? There's specific interests, there's job titles, there's employers, there's schools, different interests. Let's say I want to look at like travel. Here, like this behavior based, like this stuff, I mean, it may work, but realistically, what I've found from spending millions of dollars is that you just leave it broad, okay? Worth testing later, but you will get results by changing nothing here. Just agent sex as needed. When it comes to placements, same idea. Generally, Facebook will deliver the budget to where it needs to be, so I don't touch this. And if you did want to touch it, I would just leave it automatic instead of selecting and deselecting one of these, okay? So we'll leave that there. And let's see if I can switch back. Nope, okay, so more or less Advantage Plus, right? The new broad, as Facebook likes to call it. So this is done, this is all set. We're gonna, if we made changes because we needed to, because of location or age or sex, it's done. Now we're gonna go to the ad level. Okay, so I'm going to hit preview, and then we have our page already selected. We don't have an Instagram account, so it says, as I was saying earlier, use Facebook page. Okay, and from here, this is something new, flexible. So I haven't played around with this, just to be honest with you, so I'm not going to give recommendations around that, but I will deselect this. There's always little tweaks, and this is like a newer ad account, so that's why they're kind of demonstrating stuff like this. Super interesting. Now it gives us the option to actually deliver. That's really cool. This is brand new. I've never seen this before. So I'm going to use that, by the way. So here's what we're going to do now. Okay, yeah, like this is new. Ad sources. This was not here before, right? So now we're going to create the first ad. Okay, and the way I'm going to do this is I'm first going to put in my website URL and then my ad copy, okay? Now we're gonna grab this. Remember, I haven't even made a domain for this, so I'm just gonna dump this in. It might even populate some stuff here, like little previews and everything. Yeah, oh, there we go, cool. So now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to, type in some primary text. I'm gonna keep it very simple. Once again, this is not a copywriting course, but you'll just see how it shows up here. Okay, so fly first class for free or the price of economy. Learn the travel hacking secrets that only savvy travelers know about and use to fly for pennies on the dollar. No more cramped economy seats. Why not lay flat in a bed in the sky for your next trip that comes at a fraction of the cost? Super simple. I'm not a bad copywriter if I say so myself. And then Facebook's now doing this stuff. You get some ideas from this, but yeah, these aren't bad. This is all AI generated. Not bad, right? If you wanted to add these, you could select these. We're not going to, for now. Okay, but just know these are available. So you can actually add multiple versions here. There's like a different version of what's called a dynamic creative. I typically don't use that, okay? So now we're gonna put in a headline, fly first class for free, or the price of economy. And then let's even throw in a little airplane. Boom. And there we go. That looks pretty good, or simple at least. Okay. And yeah, all sorts of new stuff is coming in here. This is crazy. So it's probably also because this is e-commerce and I don't really run e-commerce products or offers. Okay. So Some other things here too, just take note, if you want to add like a call function on the landing page, that is a choice, but generally we're just going to leave this as is, okay? We're not going to change anything here. It already has our pixel added. You could add parameters, but this is going to be in a more advanced tracking training. And just so you know, most of the time when we run ads now, we use what's called a tracker, right? We use RedTrack. It's my preferred method of tracking. It's great for lead gen and pay-per-call. E-commerce is good as well. Other people say there's other alternatives for e-commerce. I just don't do a lot of e-commerce myself. And what that's going to allow us to do is to cover the gap that was created when Apple released an update a few years ago that basically limits the visibility of proper tracking and what ad is producing how much revenue and how many sales. So these tracking platforms will solve that for you. RedTrack is the one I use. This is the one I recommend. We'll cover that in another video. Just know that is personally what I would do, and that would have what's called these parameters. Once again, this is not an attribution course. This is a Facebook Ads Tutorial 2024. So my recommendation is you do use a tracker, okay? So I'll put out another video of that, but that's going to allow us for more proper tracking, and so we actually know what ads are working, what ads are not. But to get started, to get going, to get spending, start getting to see some results, what I'm showing you right now is the simple and most effective way of doing that, okay? So now that we have created this, now we need to decide how many creatives we want to test, okay? I'm personally, because I know my budget and what I'm willing to spend for this, I'm not going to spend $1,000 a day, but I'm also not going to spend $50 a day testing. I'm personally going to spend, knowing the price point's $27, my margin's $27. I'm going to, let's say, spend $300 a day or at least $200 a day testing, okay? And I've got a lot of creatives. I think in total we probably have 60 to 70 creatives, 50 of those images, and then like another 10 or so are going to be videos, okay? So I want to test a mix of everything, not everything today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one ad per ad set, okay? So I'm going to, if I know I want to spend $300 a day, well, let's say $250 a day, we're at $30 per ad set. We will go with 250 divided by 30, $8, 8 ad sets, okay? So we'll go with 8 ad sets. So I'm going to duplicate this, times 7. You can label these if you want, like the ad set here and then the ad as well. But if you're using a tracker, you're going to be able to access the unique ID of the ad, the unique ID of the ad set. So you don't, naming probably helps, but it's up to you. Depends how you want to do it, right? So I'd probably name this at the campaign level, right? So we have campaign, ad set, and ad. Just like we see here, campaign, ad set. Inside the ad set, where we set up the targeting and placements and everything, then we have the actual ad underneath that, okay? We're going to do one ad per. Now there's scenarios where I have a ton of creatives. Let's say my creative team produces 100 creatives for me to test, and we want to test it right away because things are working, or we're trying to get it to work as fast as possible. I might want to test everything. In that case, I'll do more ad sets, but if I have 100 creatives, I probably don't want to spend, 100 ad sets times 30, $3,000 per day just creative testing. It's just not necessary. I would take the ones that are similar, like let's say it's the same headline on the image, but it's a different image. I would take the same headline, and then I would take 3 different images with that headline, and then I would have 3 ads in one ad set. So I would trust Facebook to make some good decision there, but they're not always correct. That's the only downside, right? So in that case, if I have a ton of creatives and I don't want to spend a ton more, I will stack maybe 3, no more than 5 ads in one ad set. But generally speaking, if you have 25 to 50 creatives more or less, you could do 1 ad per ad set, so you get full spend per ad. Really important. I just don't fully trust Facebook. I know usually they make the right decision, but not always, okay? So just keep that in mind when you're making this decision, all right? So we're gonna label the campaign. Obviously we know what it is. Hacking, creative, testing, okay? So now we have the travel hack and creative testing. And then when it comes to the ad sets, if we want to label those, easiest way, this is a little hack I learned. So we're going to select all. We're going to go here. We're going to go name. And then we will, let's start with image dash 1, image dash 2, image dash 3, 4, 5. And then this is going to be video dash 1, video dash 2, video dash 3. I'm going to save the draft, okay? So you can do the same thing and label your ads the same way if you want. Right, so I could name this video dash 1, right? This is the ad under the ad set. Image dash 1, that is an option. It's really just up to you how you want to do it, okay? I'm going to be using a tracker more or less, except when I publish this, right? So I'll always be able to reference the ad ID and see inside of RedTrack what actually is and is not working, okay? So now we have our campaign structure in place. We have the ad copy, we have the targeting. We didn't really make any changes, but we would have if we needed to. We have our budget. We kind of have our general strategy of how much we're going to spend. And at this point, we are ready to add the images and videos. So this is a very simple process. We're going to start with the first one here. We're going to scroll down. We're going to add media. And this is video 1. So I will just upload video 1. Okay, so I'm just going to select my video and wait for that to upload. Okay, so I don't usually change the thumbnail. You can. I think there's an option to do it. And I also turn off these optimizations. But there should be an option. It's going to be after we do this. So you do have the option to change the thumbnail. But most of the time, it's on autoplay, right? So I could like swap to this or this, and it may work. I don't, and I get good results. Okay, so our first video is up. We're just going to repeat that process for each ad going forward, okay? So image 1, I'm going to go find our image section here. Add image, upload, graphics, we'll go headline 2, and we'll do this one. Okay, video 2. Same process. We just go back, travel hack guide, video, storytelling script, caption 1. Okay, we're just going to finish this process. So I will jump ahead because we're just going to repeat this over and over and over until we get all of our images and our videos uploaded. Very simple. Okay, so we have all of our ads uploaded, and the last step is we need to publish this campaign. So this is ready to go, and then we have a few last things to do, and that is how we set up our first campaign. So we're going to hit here, go fix errors, and it's saying the date has already passed, so let's just double check the date of the, there we go, tomorrow. We'll just say for tomorrow or today at, right now it is 3, so it's 3 p.m. Boom. Okay, so now we will publish without errors. So this is the fun part with Facebook. Sometimes you get little glitches like this. It's basically saying that the date has already passed. So what we could do, we could try to duplicate this. Normally you don't have to do this. And then we'll try to publish these new ones and see if we get if that clears the error. Okay, the campaign is published, but I just want to make a couple of notes of some things as I was looking back. So first and foremost, because they're updating and changing things again, this is new, like I mentioned. This is actually not necessarily what we want. It may be what we want. I just don't know yet. I haven't tested it. The actual URL needs to go here, right? That's the one that matters. So if you have this option on a newer ad account, I don't know if this is gonna help or hurt us in any way. It may do nothing, but this generates site links, okay? And that's gonna be like an extension on the ad, I believe, or it might come at the end of the ad, I don't know. So I'm gonna recommend you take this out for now until we do more testing. The other thing is this may automatically select, so make sure to uncheck multi-advertiser ads. I just haven't split tested enough to see. And then I've been seeing on some of the older ad accounts that this will add music automatically when you upload an image. I don't see it being an option here. So I think we're good on that, but I just want to make a note of those few things for you so that you don't miss them for yourself, okay? So now that is republished. And next, we need to set up our pixel as we let this go through the approval process. May happen right away. It may happen in 12 to 24 hours. It just depends on Facebook's mood at the time. But you just have successfully created your first effective Facebook campaign for creative testing. Okay, so our campaign already went live. It already started spending. I just paused it. And something I wanted to touch on as well, okay, in the scenario, well, there's two scenarios, right? So one is going to be on the side of e-commerce or online sales. The other scenario is going to be if we're doing lead generation or appointment setting or receiving applications, right? So any more like lead gen versus e-commerce. All right, so since this is a e-commerce or online sales based campaign, something I want to touch on is why I did not choose any other event to start to optimize for. I went straight into purchases. If you remember, here at the ad set level, we chose purchase. We didn't choose add to carts, we didn't choose add payment info, we didn't choose initiate checkout, we didn't choose complete registration, nothing else. And the reason why is because you shouldn't do any of this. You shouldn't do add to carts, you shouldn't do initiate checkouts, you should definitely not do view content. You should always, always, always go straight for purchase events and nothing else. Facebook has a very good habit of giving you exactly what you ask for, but especially on the e-commerce side and the online sales side, if you don't go for purchase events, you're not going to get buyers, right? Now, let's say that we did a lead gen campaign. So we were generating leads for people that we could sell this to maybe over the phone, okay? Maybe they put in their information and then there's an application page where they fill out more detailed info. And if they complete that step, then they go to a calendar to schedule a call with their team as a scenario, right? So if that's the case, we would have set up the campaign as leads, manual, and then here, nothing changes. Here, we're going to change this to website. We'll make a separate video on these different objectives. There's value in these, but typically not as much as a website conversion, right? For leads, for phone calls, for appointments, your website events are going to typically bring better quality, and you're going to be happier with the leads, or the people you sell the leads to are going to be happier with the people they talk to if they are able to make contact. The downside with instant forms, which was formerly referred to as Facebook lead forms, is it can pre-populate the person's information. A lot of times the information isn't up to date, or it's not correct, or the intent's just not there because it just basically pops up within Facebook and they just push a button or two to confirm it, versus them having to go to a website, reading what's on the website, and then entering the info, and then submitting it, and then taking extra steps, right? So there's a higher intent behind that. Okay, so almost always we do website, but sometimes we will test in some forms which we're not going to cover in this video, but it is a good objective too. Okay, now here we would just choose mainly lead event, definitely initially. Okay, even if you have a longer funnel where you're, like I said, where you're just getting a name, phone, email as an initial step, you fire the lead event after they complete that, great. Then maybe it goes to an application page or straight to a calendar page. After those pages are completed, if that user doesn't leave, you do want to add the event scripts to those extra pages after. We're not going to obviously be doing this because in this example I'm doing for this video, it's an online sale, okay? But if it was like a coaching funnel or a booking funnel for like a plumber or a roofer or contractor, I would want to have those extra events added on the website. Now, what would I optimize for? What would I put here? I would definitely at least start with lead, but once you have a lot of data, you could split test moving up to application if you have an application, and then even calendar or schedule once a calendar booking is done. Okay, but generally and definitely initially, you're going to want to do the lead event. One other thing to mention too, a big downside of a new ad account or even a new business manager is that you're going to be capped almost always at $50 per day. So if you want to spend $100, you can't. It will literally stop spending once you spend $50. Is this a bad thing? Yeah, it's a pain in the butt at first, but it's basically standard with almost every account unless you're using something called agency ad accounts, which are great. We use them. We mainly spend our own accounts today, but agency ad accounts typically start with 0 limits, which is awesome because you could scale right away if you're able to dial things in quickly. Okay, so I did want to mention that. So it's going to be normal to want to spend and be capped. Okay, just know you hit this $50 a day limit. Sometimes it's a couple days, sometimes honestly it's a couple weeks. There's no clear, consistent after day 10 it doubles, after day 15 it triples, nothing like that. It's going to do what it's going to do, okay? But typically you're going to be stuck at $50 a day for at least a week or so, okay? Just be aware of that. And if you do use agency ad accounts, which we can recommend you to some of the providers we use, you're going to find that they're just super easy to scale on. But nothing changes if you do use agency ad accounts. It's just you're using someone else's account that they share to you, right? So the setups and everything else are identical. Okay, so I'm going to be launching this product on an agency ad account or one of my own high spend ad accounts because I want to show you actual results. So just quick note of that, I will not be actually spending and testing this offer that I walked you through in this video on this ad account. I'm going to move it over to another ad account because I remembered as I was filming this that you're going to be capped at $50 a day. So I want to show you some real results so you can see the next phase and exactly how I do what I do. Okay. Now it's time to create the pixel, which we already have. Okay. So we are here at our business suite or the business manager. Under data sources, we go to data sets. And I had to refilm this because of a technical error. So I made a new pixel to demonstrate exactly what to do next. So assuming this was our original pixel, what we do next is we need to go to open an events manager. Okay, so now let's add the pixel to our website so we can actually properly track. We're going to start with the browser pixel setup, which we'll walk you through here, and then we'll talk a little about conversion API as well. Okay, so we go back to our business suite or business manager. I'm going to go to open an events manager. And then I'm going to set up Metapixel, install code manually, and copy code. Now, if you are using Shopify or even, I believe, WooCommerce or WordPress or some other page builders or website builders that have a direct Facebook integration, you could probably skip this. But if not, like for example, this is on Go High Level. Go High Level is a funnel builder, kind of like ClickFunnels, and I need to add the script manually. As far as I know, there's no direct integration. So here we are at the funnel. Remember, this may not specifically apply to you, but the concept is the same. Okay, so if it's a direct integration, you're basically 2 to 3 clicks away from it being automatically done within that application, such as Shopify. If you have your own page builder like this that doesn't have a direct integration, or if you're using custom HTML, you're going to more or less need to follow this to an extent. Okay, so the first thing is we want to put the base code of the pixel, actual pixel itself, site-wide on the header. So in Go High Level, that's in the settings of the funnel. I put it in the header and then I save. Very, very simple. Now we need to add the event code. Remember, I'm doing purchases, so I'm going to put the purchase event on the page after there is a purchase completed. If you're doing leads, you put it on the page the consumer lands to after they fill out the form, right? So we're going to go to the page after, which is this one. They purchase on this one, they go here. I'm going to edit, and I'm going to get the script for the purchase event. I've already done a search here, so Facebook doesn't just give you the scripts. I don't know why. You have to kind of dig for them. So I just went ahead and searched Facebook standard event scripts. I know this page has what I need. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to grab this one. Actually, it's just this. I'm going to now add it in the header section here. Remember, whatever you're using may be different, and that's okay. I'm going to actually remove this because I don't need this. That should be it. Boom. Okay. Let me just double check that script. Yep. Cool. Okay. I haven't even finished this funnel. I just wanted to use this as a demo. And the cool thing is I am going to be completing this. I can show you actual real live results with my own ad spend behind them. Okay. So from here, I'm going to now, okay, so that is all set. Remember, we added the base code, so every page on the website has the base script, the base pixel, and then on the page after the event that we're optimizing for, which in this case is purchase, I went ahead and added the purchase event on there. And I found that event just by doing a quick Google search for Facebook standard events, although I wish it was a little bit clearer. Like, this is not user-friendly at all. So I apologize on behalf of Facebook. So where do we go from here? Well, it's very simple. I'm going to let the spend, cross my fingers we get some sales. That'd be super cool. This may turn into a winning product. I think it's a cool product. I know I paid a lot of money for someone to teach me how to do this. But nonetheless, we're going to look at the results. You obviously don't have to wait. You'll see the results right after I finish talking. And then you'll see what we do next and how we problem solve if we decide to, right? Nonetheless, I'm going to show you the next phase of Facebook ads, what we do from here, and then also how we scale once we identify winning creatives and then a good offer that's optimized. Last thing, the conversion API. This is not a technical setup when it comes to attribution. I personally use RedTrack, and it's very technical. I'll do some videos on that as well. That's what I use for tracking software. You'll be okay starting off. Like, let's say you have a HTML or a page builder like this, and you're doing purchases or leads. You'll be okay to start with just adding the pixel, adding the standard events. But ideally, you do want to have some type of tracking software, because you're going to see, depending on the offer, sometimes a gap between what's actually reported in Facebook Ads Manager and what's actually selling or converting can be as much as 30 to 40%. I've seen this recently with some offers we tested that we did not put through the tracking software. So you'll absolutely want a tracking software. If you do e-commerce, there's tons of options there, like Cometly. If you do lead gen or pay-per-call, there's softwares for all of this stuff, right? Like RedTrack is personally what I use. So let's see how the results are. I'll see you in the next part. Okay, so it's been a few days. We have our initial results on this offer. It's not exactly as I was hoping. That's okay. The whole purpose of this was just a case study, right? Regardless, I'm going to show you what the results were, what we would do next if we want to keep optimizing this offer, which we may or may not do. I'm not too concerned about it. And then on top of that, we're going to switch over to an offer that is working, that's moving from the creative testing phase to the scaling phase, so I can actually show you step by step exactly what we do. So let's take this initial case study as example, okay? So we spent over the last 4 days, roughly about, so we spent over the last 3 to 4 days a total of $551, and we had 3 sales. And some things we were doing on the back end, we would let it get 200 to 300 clicks, 1 to 200 clicks, and then we would try adjusting the price down. Another 1 to 200 clicks, we would adjust the price up. So we're seeing if the pricing is the issue, because we were having a decent number of initiate checkouts, right? So, but even at a $27 price point, it's just not going to work, right? The only way that was going to work is if we were seeing $5 to $10 initiate checkouts, or if we built at the back end, which we haven't yet, because I literally just built this as an example product to show you, okay? So what we found, there's a huge drop off as well on the actual order form. So roughly, what is that, 5 to 10%, somewhere in there, are actually purchasing, right? So I guess you could say, no, probably a little bit more, 3 out of 20, okay? So that's, what, 15%? But nonetheless, we had 20 initiate checkouts out of, how many link clicks? 400. So 5% were actually going to the checkout page, and of that, about 15% were actually purchasing at either $27 or $7. So if we want to, we'll do a larger case study on this, but let's talk about these results, okay? So I'm first looking at what's our CPM, CPCs. So CPMs are secondary to obviously the actual cost for the traffic. Getting $1.30 cost per click on across the board, pretty darn good. Like, in my opinion, the creatives are doing their job. We're getting high click-through rates on the engagement side, really high click-through rates on the actual click-through to the lander. So the ads are doing their job more or less. I mean, we could still test more. I would test more variations. But the next thing I would do, I'd be making variations of our actual page itself, and then variations to split test as well on the checkout page. Not gonna do that, at least not right now. But yeah, that's what we would do. And then if this was the offer I was focused on, I would keep these ads running while running split tests first on the actual main website, main landing page, to see if we get a higher initiate checkout. So maybe 20, 30% or higher would be nice. And then as well as doing some kind of split testing, maybe on the price point more, or on the actual offer on the checkout page, right? So yeah, that's exactly what we do. Happy with the creatives, they did their part, but it's just not, the offer isn't hot, right? It's not just selling itself. Like some products, some lead gen offers, some pay-per-call offers, they just hit right away. Like if you throw up good creatives from the start, you'll see it's just working. Okay, so now we're gonna flip over to an offer that I've been working on the last 1.5 to 2 months. We're spending around $3,000 per day, and we're slowly scaling up as we get quality feedback. It's a lead generation offer. And yeah, so let's hop into that ad account. Okay, so here we are on the offer that I've been focused on like in the last 30 days as we've scaled up. Spent $21,000, majority of that's probably just been the last 2 weeks. Yep, so there you go. Today, we're finishing the day around 3K spend. Yesterday, 3,500 spend. We're seeing 20, 30% ROI. It's not amazing, but it's profitable. And we should be getting payout bumps as well as a few other things very shortly. So my average cost per lead, keep in mind, these CPLs, the cost per lead that you're seeing here, is definitely inflated because we're seeing about 10 to 20% gap, sometimes 30% gap in actual attribution. That's why we use RedTrack, where we actually see the real data, right? I suggest you use RedTrack as well. Okay, so here we are in one of our main offers that we have been slowly scaling up. We're spending, like last 14 days, we only run Monday through Friday. We spent around almost $18,000. We're spending roughly $3,000 to $3,500 a day right now. Finishing up the day, $29.52. And we're doing this a little bit less conventionally because the offer is very particular as far as aligning certain buyers want certain ages and want certain states. So we're running more campaigns than we traditionally do. But usually, honestly, it's one creative campaign and generally like 1, maybe 2 scaling campaigns and not much more than that. Like I said, this one's a little bit unique because the offer is a little bit complex and different buyers want different things. Right, so we're finding ourselves just with more campaigns than we ideally want. But let's hone in on 2 things. A creative testing campaign, because that's really where we're at now, and then a scaling campaign, okay? So this is a great cost per lead. Anything really under $10 consistently is, and anything that's showing that for this particular offer is fantastic. Okay, so if it's under 10 bucks, it should be profitable, right? Especially if it's showing that in Facebook, where most likely it's $8 to $9, maybe even a little bit less. Okay, so this is probably better than $7.51, most likely, not necessarily, but most likely. Okay, now what we're gonna look at here is on the maximum on this, and I want to go into this creative testing campaign because this is basically where we've left off in the example offer that I put together to launch. Okay, and as you can see here, what we remember, knowing our ideal cost per lead is about 10 bucks, more or less. If we look at all these different ad sets, each one has either one ad or a maximum of 3 ads, meaning same ad with maybe different introductions / hooks. Okay, we're letting all these run to a kill point. Okay, the kill point is going to be different depending on your offer, depending on your price point, and depending on your budget too. And on top of that, the overall trend of how the campaign's performing, right? So I'll make exceptions to these rules if I see the campaigns, like a majority of the ad sets are converting. Okay, if I see a majority are not converting and it's having extremely poor performance, more like the product that I showed you in the first phase, then I'll be more aggressive in killing things off. Okay, so there are exceptions to this, but generally speaking, this is around your target cost per acquisition. So I'm going to let each ad, or in this case ad set with one ad in it, spend up to 15-ish, maybe 20 bucks, because I'm seeing a majority of ad sets converting, maybe not being profitable, but converting, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna allow these ad sets to spend about 20 bucks, knowing my target's 10 or less, 20 bucks to convert, and then I'm gonna watch for it to be profitable somewhere between $30 to $40 in spend. So those are my 2 kill points. Kill 1, if there's no conversion by 20 bucks, I kill it. Kill point 2, okay, there's a conversion or 2 at 20 bucks. Is it profitable at $30 to $40 or more? If it's not, then I'm gonna kill it. Because usually after that, then we're looking on a lifetime plus day-by-day basis. Okay, generally if it's profitable after $30 to $40 spend, I'm gonna let it probably finish out today unless it just goes super negative by the end of the day. And then I'm also gonna let it run the next day and do a lifetime comparison, day-to-day comparison, and then even the day after that to see how it does over a larger time span, okay? I'll make a decision from there, right? So looking at these, okay, so if we look at, we're left with 3 out of 27 ad sets, a lot of testing in this. It's just one of our creative testing campaigns because of the targeting complexity, like I mentioned. And we have multiple winners more or less in here, okay? So here we are. All that matters is cost per lead / cost per result, cost per acquisition, whatever it is to you, cost per purchase maybe. But the actual goal, the thing that measures margin, right? And then your secondary metrics are going to be your CPMs and your CPCs, right? Along with click-through rate and engagement. Okay, so what I'm looking at here is this cost per click within a reasonable range? Okay, so I know I've spent probably $30,000 on this offer since we first launched in April, and I know for a fact that a reasonable cost per click for this specific offer with the type of targeting we're doing is going to be somewhere between $2 to $3. You're only going to know that after you spend, right? Whereas with the first offer we showed you, it was like $1 cost per click. So that's not necessarily the standard for a winning creative, but on average, that'll probably be what most creatives are going to hover around that $1 price point, okay, on a cost per click basis. So is this within $2 to $3 cost per click range? Absolutely, okay? So therefore, I'm going to let it run. So like we did another round of creative testing in here on July 1st. That's July 1st, July 2nd. No, actually, it should be July 3rd. Yeah, because that was Monday. So, okay, so let's look at the results from initial testing. We tested a batch of creatives here. Here's what we saw. Okay, so I saw some probably late conversions come in because I see these spent like 20 bucks, 20 bucks, 20 bucks and had a conversion. but those probably came in after the $20 mark. So I'm killing more aggressive because the majority of the creatives are not working for this offer. And then same thing here, high CPL, like these just probably aren't going to turn around, okay? And then while I'm also monitoring this, I would kill off high cost per click, right? So like this one, I wasn't in the ads manager as much yesterday, but if I was doing like a new launch, I'd be aggressively killing like this one. If it costs on average $20 to get a click, probably no way it's going to consistently create a $10 cost per lead. It's just not going to happen, right? So I'm looking at a combination of this and this because the cheapest cost per click is not always going to be the winning creative. Often it's not. But I can say with confidence the most expensive cost per click is more often not going to be the winning creative as well. It's almost always going to be what's closest to the average cost per click. So average cost per click is $384, and our winning creatives are on the lower end of that, well, more or less. We have $220, $336, and $582. Let's see how those did today. Even better today. Yeah, and obviously that brought our average down because that's all we ran. Okay, so these are phenomenal cost per clicks, right, for this offer in particular, right? But most importantly, the cost per lead is great. Yesterday, these had cost per leads not bad, multiple conversions, so they made it past the first kill point where there's no conversion by 20, and then the second kill point where it's not profitable after 30, 40 bucks. I let them keep running. Today, they are kicking butt. So because this offer, we have a lot of data behind, we've been at this offer for going on really 2 full months, we're confident that one of these is going to scale, okay? So all I'm going to do, this is the creative testing. It's literally as simple as that, okay? And then when I want to test new creatives, new angles, new copy, I'll make variations of what's working already. So maybe different hooks, same video, or if it's an image ad, I'll make the same image with maybe like a different multiple background colors or different headlines overlaying, okay? I'll make variations and introduce new concepts, new angles, new ideas. And we repeat this process, and you could just do it inside the same campaign. Like let's say I've got 10 new ads I want to test. I will literally just duplicate these 10, right? So I will literally just duplicate it times 10. I'll update the name of each ad set with maybe the angle plus the date, and maybe if it's a video, doesn't really matter, whatever helps you with the reference. And then I will test it. Very simple, okay? So I'm gonna close this. Okay, so that is it. You literally just keep doing this until you have you literally keep doing this until you have a winning creative. Winning creative, by my definition, is a good cost per click in a good range, somewhere around the average, maybe right on, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. Obviously, the lower better, if it's also consistently converting and it's more or less profitable or around break even. What I'm also looking at is the funnel itself. For the funnel, not to go into the funnel because it's just a simple bridge page and we're linking out to an affiliate offer from there. What we do is we split test the actual funnel page or the bridge page in this case. So we use a tool called Unbounce. Unbounce will literally just, it allows you to duplicate the page and then split test maybe like a different headline, a different layout, maybe like a longer form versus a shorter form, right? So we split test the headlines first and foremost. And then we also will split test the image, if it's like headline, sub-headline, image, button, right? So we'll split test each one of those elements. Mainly headline first, this is going to give you the most leverage. And then after you've split tested the heck out of the headline, then you could split test the actual image that shows one on the landing page, okay? But that will give you leverage because you could move your click-through rate from that bridge page from maybe 30% to 50%. And you're just getting more traffic for your dollar, right? So little things like this will make a huge difference, okay? And this will give you leverage. So eventually, with enough split testing, as we're doing creative testing, as we're beginning to scale, we're also running that split testing test on the landing page or the bridge page. And with enough data and time, you're going to see it average out to maybe 40% or 50%. And then at that point, you know, okay, great. This is our winning combination for now. We've got enough leverage here. Let's focus on the creative and let's go to scale. So it's time to scale. And we actually set this up to scale for tomorrow. So all we did, literally with each one of these three, I simply duplicated the ad set. Let's do that right now. Sorry, we're gonna duplicate into a new campaign. We'll call this offer scaling winner CBO, and then tomorrow is July 3rd. Okay, so now we're gonna scroll all the way down and we're gonna turn on CBO. I'm gonna start it at $500 if it's the first time that I'm scaling. It's all relative to your offer. I can't give you one number for a budget to spend. Sometimes I'll start it as $750 or $1,000. Just depends on the offer, right? But generally for the CBO scaling, I'll do either $250 or $500. A lot of this comes back to the confidence I have in the offer too. If I'm not very confident, I'm probably not going to scale like crazy, okay? So I'll simply publish. So at that point, I have basically picked out my winner and I moved it into a scaling campaign, okay? And generally, I'll look for a few ads and I will pull them and then put anywhere from 1 to 3 creatives in that scaling campaign. Let's go back to our first offer and I'll show you what I would do, assuming that it was scaling. Okay, just so I don't break any more of my campaigns, because I actually broke something and switched it over to a CBO on an existing campaign by accident, and I can't change it back now. We're going to use our first offer as an example of how we would scale. Let's assume that this was a good cost per purchase and we have multiple conversions and we're happy and we want to scale all 3 of these creatives. What I would do next is I would click here, duplicate, I choose new campaign, label it whatever makes sense to you, CBO, scaling, and then the date. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to go up to the campaign level, which you could do here or here. And I'm going to change this to CBO. Now, the budget you choose is, once again, relative to the offer and also relative to that as well with your confidence. So this is let's assume this is like a $50 to $100 cost per purchase on average. I'm definitely going to spend probably at least $500 a day in this, okay? Now we're going to go to the ad set. We will set this to tomorrow at midnight. All this depends on the offer, what is your advertising, a number of other things. For example, if this is a lead gen campaign, maybe you want to start running ads at 9 a.m. instead of midnight when no one is accepting leads, okay, or phone calls. Everything else here just stays the same. We've got our winning creative here. We won't change anything here, okay? So now we'll publish this, publish. Okay, and now what we will do is, well, we'll wait, but one other thing we could also do, if you choose to, is you use the post ID. So the post ID is a unique ID that carries all the comments, likes, and shares. I'm a fan of usually using these in our scaling campaigns. So let's assume these were our 3 best ads. We'll go here, we'll click here, we'll click preview, we'll click this little arrow, Facebook post with comments. Well, that's loading. We're gonna go back and we're gonna repeat that for each one of these. Preview, click here, go back, click, preview, click here, and then click here. Now we can get our post IDs. So if I go to the first one,
how to fly first.
You're going to see a post ID.
This is John Caston.
Oh, there we go. We're going to grab this PFID here. I'm going to copy this, go back to our scaling campaign right here, click here. We're going to go down to the ad level, either here or remember, you can always just click on the ad set. We have 3 ads in total. So now we're going to duplicate this times 2. Okay, and then duplicate. We're going to select the first one. You can do that here or here. Now we're going to go to use existing. And then we're going to paste our post ID. And that's going to be enter post ID. Boom. And then we go to our next one. Okay, so now we're in our scaling phase. We're spending. This thing is taking off. It should at least, right? So I wanted to show you a few examples of campaigns we're actually doing this with actively or most recently, and give you clear, simple instructions how you could just repeat this process and repeat the outcome that you're looking for. Okay, so to go back to the second offer I showed you, this is, remember, we're scaling this across multiple scaling campaigns because it requires different targeting combinations for different buyers. Not ideal, but it's our best option. So still, like tomorrow, we moved 3 winners from a creative test that we recently did all into their own scaling campaigns. Really the same creatives, but the difference is the targeting for the state and age combinations. Okay, but you can see up here we have other campaigns scaling or filtered by cost per result. Remember, Facebook is not perfect, so these are not ideal. And not to overwhelm you with data because there's all sorts of numbers here. But for example, these are some of our better scaling campaigns here. So let's take these 2, for example. They're consistently within the range we're looking for. Last 7 days, they're a little bit newer, right? But the way we started these was $500 a day, CBO, just like I've shown you how to do. And then we've increased the budget from there. If we see really, really good numbers like $5 to $6 cost per lead, 110 is really our threshold for this. I might double the budget. I might jump it to 1,000. If I see the overall performance of the offer is doing great and this campaign is 30% ROI, I'll probably double the budget. If it's 20 to 30%, it's kind of flickering in and out of that, I might just go up 20%. There's a lot of misconceptions around scaling. When something's working and it's hot with Facebook, a lot of times you can just jump the budget. Maybe not like 1K to 10K. I haven't tried that in a long time, but you could definitely double it and often it will stick. Okay, or you could be more conservative and try the 20% increases every 2 to 3 days or whatever they recommend. I sometimes do that. I do that if it's like if we're hovering around the cost per lead. It's not great, it's not bad, I might be more conservative. So a lot of this becomes, I hate to say feel-based, based off of the data, you make a decision, right? So if it's doing extra hot, huge margin, jump the budget. If it's not doing super hot, but there's like a good margin, you could just take your time and slowly scale it up, okay? But that's basically it. Most important thing is that you're feeding new creatives in and you're constantly testing and hunting for new winners, because these will die off at some point. I have no doubt about that, okay? So yeah, just be aware of that no campaign lasts forever. It's just a reality. No offer lasts forever, or at least the way you want it to. So let's look at another example. This is a campaign that we've been working on the last 3 months, since the start of May. Target cost per lead, as we've added more filters and it's become a more expensive lead but a more qualified lead, is realistically we're happy with the $200 cost per lead. And this is the same exact kind of setup. We got our creative testing campaign here. We have our scaling campaign here with the best creatives from this creative test. And then we're also doing a big cap campaign, and that's for another video. We're not going to touch on big cap in this. That's something you add on when you're trying to get that extra push. Once you've already found winners, you're reproducing regular winners, your funnel's optimized, and then you've got a scaling campaign. So this guy's up to $2,500 a day. We paused the last few days. We're going live again, I believe tomorrow with this campaign. But yeah, like $200 cost per lead, we're seeing probably a 2 to 3x return on our ad spend once it's dialed in. Okay, so if we go to, let's say like Wednesday, we were still running last week. We made some adjustments. Thursday, we were still running. Oh no, we paused on Wednesday. Okay, so here we go. Yep, so you see good cost per lead. Good cost per lead, and remember, it's going to be an average. But we're consistently hovering in that range, like the $200 range. Last 7 days, you could see it, right? Last 14 days, you could see it. Okay, and that's basically it. This is a much simpler campaign. It's one set of buyers, all the same criteria, and we're just scaling up as it backs out based on quality. But that's it. This is how you scale most offers, whether it's e-com, whether it's coaching, lead gen, appointment setting, affiliate offer, whatever you're doing for yourself or someone else. And this is it. Like, it's not that much more complicated than this. So creative is going to go hand in hand with a great offer or good offer and a great funnel once it's optimized. I will show you how to optimize your funnel with simple practices in another video. Just know that is a huge lever. That's actually what helped us make this offer work. And a lot of times it will get you there. It'll help you push over the finish line to get you to the cost per lead, the cost per acquisition, the cost per purchase that you need it to be, if the creatives aren't driving you there already, okay? But it's gonna require both. You're gonna need to have great creatives with a good offer, and then obviously optimize the funnel so it converts consistently. That's basically it. So if you have any other questions, I hope you got a lot from this. I wanted to make this very simple, clean, cut, dry, show you real examples from my own ad spend, out of my own pocket. This isn't someone else's money that's being spent. I only make money if this makes money, right? And show you exactly how I do this, how I spend thousands of dollars per day, and I do it profitably most days. Not every day is perfect. And I do it profitably for long periods of time. Anyone can do this. I'm not a genius with this stuff. I just have really good people around me. I understand the fundamentals and mechanics of making an offer work with paid media, and I hope you got a lot from this. So make sure to join my free school group if you haven't already. You'll see a link below this video. Click to join. I'm in there answering questions every day, helping people just like you problem solve their media buying, their online advertising, and their performance marketing. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe if you got some value from this. Drop a comment below if you have any questions, and share this video if you think someone else will benefit as well.